I never really liked Subarus in the first place, I'll tell you that. But ever since we got this car behind us right here, you know, definitely that changed my mind. You know, what about you?
Same thing. Never really liked Subarus. I like the older ones, the bug eye ones.
Yeah, bug eye.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
And then the new one came out, no STI version, at least at the time of recording. And it was kind of like, why not?
True.
What's going on, Subaru?
Exactly. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video here at PLM, Private Label Manufacturing. My name's John and
Johnson.
So both of us today we have a different kind of content plans, the thoughts we have for the car, and on top of that, for all of our cars, not just this car behind us. So far we have 3 project cars here. So we have the F05 Civic Type R, pushes 533, and we have the
EK right there. You see the giveaway car, the orange one that's getting worked on.
Yeah, and that will be hitting 1,000 horsepower. We are already claiming that because we know it has been done. It has a motor that's capable of hitting 1,000 horsepower. And behind us, we have the WRX VB TR. This is not just your regular WRX VB, guys, all right? So Johnson, let's go ahead and talk about the WRX VB, man. So, you know, what are your thoughts on when we first got it? Like when we first got the car, like what were your thoughts? Like, okay, maybe it was a different kind of Subi, but you know, what did you think we were gonna do with the car?
So I'll be honest. As the intro stated, I personally never really liked Subarus. I like what they're capable of back in the rallies. I still think they are very capable cars, but the newer generation, like this one, kind of to me fell off, and it just looks wise, before we, changed our looks, stock wise, the look was just not my cup of tea, to say it nicely. I thought the design was poor. I thought the design was not consistent. It looked like 2 or 3 designers did it. One did the side, another one did the body of the car, and then the third one did something else. So looks wise, not a fan. After it's been paint match, the fenders, and the STI spoiler, which I think the spoiler is kind of dumb, but it fits the STI style, so that's why I think it looks cool. If I had this car, I wouldn't personally put that on, but I think it looks really great. Stock, it was okay. I mean, you probably driven more than I did before we started messing with it, so stock-wise, it was okay. I thought it was, it's a Subaru.
Right. I mean, not saying that we are, putting down the Subaru community or Subaru individuals, but, when these cars came off from the factory, it was, it was eye-shocking, really, with the fenders, especially with I think the rear bumper, I guess both bumpers as well, they had the black trims. As what you said earlier, but it was, what I thought was actually not consistent. I had the same thought as well. If we're talking about the previous Subarus, such as the STI, the WRX, we have the trims were pretty much, paint match, right? So that I thought it was pretty nice, right? Like, don't get me wrong, the VAs, which were the previous ones before the VBs, those were pretty cool. However, when we first modded this car, which was the paint match fenders, and even the front, all the black trims that we had, we paint matched all of them. That's where I was like, okay, we're onto something that, that could really progress into a good way, if that makes sense, guys. Here's a photo of the WRX right now, or a video.
Before and after.
Before and after. So you guys can see the black trims were definitely, or the black trims getting into a paint match of the Rally Blue. It's a big game, big change, man, for the game. So
yeah, it's strange how, it's still technically minor. If you think about it, like all we did was, we got our fenders painted. You could probably buy fenders that's pre-painted, but at the time we didn't do that. We just paint matched it. And like John was saying, all the little things.
You wanted to waste money. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
It's a project car. Let's see who can waste money the most.
Yeah.
But looks-wise, after we did all that cosmetic stuff, it started looking better. The thing that really sold it for me was after we lowered it and put the TEs on.
The TEs, right.
That was baller.
Yeah.
Probably cut to some picture of before and after. Like, it looks so nice now with lowered and everything. It's still A little too lower for my personal taste, but it's dope. I like how it looks out. Then we got into modifying it.
So speaking of the wheels, when we first got the wheels, I saw the T's coming, since T's are pretty much hyped up, super hyped up right now.
It's the new Yankees.
Yeah, it's the new Yankees, right? It's the new RPF ones back in the day. And if you have RPF ones till to this day, make sure to comment down below and say you
OG.
got one. Yeah, OG, right? These are just not regular TEs, by the way. These are T37 SL, magnesium blue, 18s all around.
With the red accents.
Red accents, really, because we have the red accents, which is really nice. And tires, we have the best of all tires, which I honestly prefer. Why don't you tell them what tires we have, since you track a lot?
We have 71 RE 71 RS. It's technically they're new
Potenzas.
Yeah, okay. They're technically their new ones, but it's been for sale for a couple years outside of the United States. I think we just got it like a year or two ago.
Right.
Absolute cheater tires.
Yeah.
They are cheater tires because you slap them on and you're making a new personal record. Right. And the grip levels are amazing. They hold their temperature very long. I think I have almost a year's worth of events on my personal ones, and they still grip. The grip does fall off compared to brand new tires, but that happens all the time.
Right.
So the amount of grip it still has, despite having well over 7+ days, it's pretty cool, and they look nice.
Right.
We have a set here. It looks nice. That's for the Type R.
We have a beefy kind of look, so which is really nice. So let's talk about the performance wise. The very first performance we did was the downpipe J pipe.
Yeah. Fitment was cool. It was bolted straight on. I think he put the defouler, I believe that's what it's called, because
for the O2 sensor.
For the O2 sensor, just because the newer modern cars are so sensitive to everything. So then it throws a light, and then you want to fix it, and blah 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 blah. So that's what we did, and then we jumped right into the mid pipe, which was bigger and beefier, and then we also jumped straight to our muffler delete, which was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Right. It is so loud. I'm pretty sure videos don't do it justice.
Yes, I drove that car almost every day at one point.
Hey, he drove it. I was like, hey, how's the drone? He goes, I can't hear you. What?
Yeah. And my neighbors are just not happy. Every single time we do a cold start, because the cold start, for some reason, I don't know why, Subaru cold starts are so long, it just doesn't idle right away. I don't know if it's just me or not, but if you could relate, comment down below. Which PLM part did you think that made the WRX VB wake up?
I would say the mid pipe and axle back. I would say if I had to do this again, I would leave the J pipe, just because I find that annoying. I would leave the J pipe. I would leave the stock J pipe on, mid pipe, and then the STI mufflers right now. The reason why I say that is because it gives it just enough growl, but there's hardly any drone, and it still sounds nice when you get into it. Versus again, like if you want to just be loud, then get the whole system, be loud as well. Or if you want to have, it might be because we're getting old, but after like 10 minutes of driving and being loud, it's like, all right, I'm over it. Like, yeah, I got the co-star, which is cool. I got spirited driving, whatever. I get that. And then when you're just commuting home or late at night or whatever, you just go, I just want to listen to my music and chill. That's it. But again, personal preference, whatever you want. That's what I would do. What would you do?
I would say which PLM part really made the WRX VB, go at it. I would say it was the turbo. After installing the drop-in turbo, we have PLM WRX VB or P660 or P660, you guys want to call it that way. So we have a drop-in turbo, and obviously as the P660, literally it's a self-explanatory, guys. So it can hold up all the way up to 600 horse, at least 660 horsepower. We wouldn't recommend going more than 660 or the given power or the given number, but I would say the P660 and also the tune was my favorite part of this process, because they really woke up the WRX. On top of that, this car was originally built to 500 horsepower, and we are still working on that. In fact, we are working with another tuner right now, which we're not going to say his name yet, but we have a new custom tune inside the car, and we're waiting for another revision which for the next videos you guys will see which one it will be.
Yeah.
And we'll see how much power we're gonna make for the WRX VB. But other than that, the car just runs pretty. I mean, it's fast. The last time I drove it with Johnson, it definitely pulled a lot. We were recommended to get the fuel done, and on top of that, the fuel system done. So we already have all the parts waiting. We're just waiting for it to get installed. And on top of that, we also need the E85. You know, the E. Obviously, you guys know what the E is. If you guys don't know what the E85 is, yeah, this one burns fuel faster. It could push your car actually. I mean, it depends on the tune that you have. You know, if you have a custom tune specifically just for ethanol or E85, then you're pretty much running pretty good, right? But you also might want to be careful if you don't have any flex fuel. You know, because sometimes I do know the fuel tanks, I do know the fuel on these cars are pretty sensitive, if you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
But E85 is definitely the way to go for us to hit the 400s or at least 500 horsepower.
I was gone, and then they retuned it, and then John and I went on a drive, and I went, oh my God, this thing's just quick.
Right. And a Subaru WRX VB that pushes 340 horsepower, you would say 340 horsepower is okay. Like, okay, especially if you're, I'm talking about if you're coming from a high horsepower mark, right? But to get on it, it's like, oh crap, this one actually pulls. Especially it's the fact that it's actually an all-wheel drive, that already tells you something that, okay, this car actually could go at it, right?
Yeah, it just keeps pulling. That's the scary part. Exactly. Is it drives. Right. Shout out to all the tuners and all the parts and everything. It drives kind of like a stock car. Like if you just drive normally, it's a regular stock car. But then when you get on it, it just keeps pulling to red line. Now, as it states now, but then to me, 340, this is already a lot of fun and started getting you in a lot of trouble. But we're going for 500, and that is.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I already think this is pretty good.
Right.
500 is just kind of hard to imagine what 500 is supposed to feel like.
I mean, I've driven at least the last time I drove a high horsepower STI. This was an STI. It was years ago. This was probably making like it could be 450 plus, or it could be more actually. That felt different. That was one of my first cars that I drove that had a high horsepower. And again, these cars are all-wheel drive, so you know they're a different breed, right? It's not just like a rear-wheel drive where you have
lose traction.
You lose traction and all of that. You have to a little bit wait just to kick in and all of that. But no, this one actually, the WRX really it gives you a lot of excitement, and it's also a smile, especially when you do a lot of pulls, right? Moving forward, you know, we have all that stuff that we've done performance-wise. Plans, you know, we're going to talk about the plans that we have for the WRX. We're just going to focus more on road to 500 horsepower in this car. So
yeah. So if you're wondering why we're not doing anything else yet, we kind of shift focus. We just want to get there first.
So far, exterior-wise, we've done a lot, right? We have carbon fiber front lip, side skirts, and also rear diffuser, and they look crazy. Every time we drive this out on the streets, it's an eye catcher, like we said, right? And you know, when it comes to performance, 340 may not sound a lot for some of you guys. To these platforms, that's already a lot. You know, especially we have a bigger turbo on this, and top of that, we also have a lot of plans scheduled to go on track, but to test out these cars and see, you know, where it could really take us. You know, what the limit would be, right? So
we need to take this car a rally. That's what we need to do. We want to do a brief thought video of how at least us two felt this. So this is a new type of content. If you like this stuff, or we just discuss thoughts, opinions, whatever, we're gonna do one for the EK. We're gonna do one for the F05. At least one for each one of our projects, just to see if people like this content. We'll keep doing it. Down the pipeline, we might do a test between the Type R and the WRX. See which one's better, like they'll compare and contrast. Since they're both gonna be making around 500-ish power anyway, it might be a good idea to just, you know, see how we think. Because, you know, this is just a intro, I would say. Rear-wheel drive, came from rear-wheel drive. This is all-wheel drive. F05 is front-wheel drive. So, it'd be a little nice to discuss opinions, views, and whatnot. But, summarize it. I dig the WRX now.
I would say that too. Honestly, this car is definitely going to be making more more than the given number that we just said, 500 horsepower. But guys, before we end today's video, so you guys can see we have the orange Honda Civic EK, and we are giving that car away. If you want to join, and you could probably win this car.
Links in the description below. That's everything you need. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you could let us know below as well. Feel free to email us at salesprivatelabel.com. We'll take care of you. If you need Subaru parts, F5 parts, any parts, just let us know.
All right guys, well thank you so much for watching this video once again, and if you guys enjoy this new kind of content that Johnson and I did, do us a favor, smash that like button down below, and also subscribe for more PLM content videos. Johnson, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you guys in the next video.